All right, good morning, YouTube. It's Cody and I. We got something really special for you. We're going to do a coffee challenge, Cowboy Coffee, and we're going to do it Cody's way. And I'll tell you what, we've been drinking it. It is rocket fuel, and it's absolutely stunning coffee. So we'll share that with you. And then we got a special treat. We're going to show you Cody's hobby of making watches and doing repairs. And if you're into that, you got to stick around and check it out. And let's do this. We're in Idaho, and my wife and the dogs were here seeing the grandkids, and Cody's putting up with us, and we're getting ready to head out here in a couple hours. We're waiting for Melissa's purse to show up because we left it behind in Oregon, and it's coming FedEx or UPS this morning. But in the meantime, let's have some coffee and let's take a look at these watches that Cody's working on because they're amazing, and let's look at his tooling too. So let's check it out. Hey, check this out. We're gonna get some Cowboy Coffee rolling, and look at this. Cody reminds me, apparently I gave him this American camper. This thing is cool, and it's got a nice flame on that. It's perfect. I love that stove. We're gonna do some Cowboy Coffee. And if you're not familiar with that, apparently this is a good boil, or is it just a heat?
You want to get a rolling boil.
We're going to get a roller in the kettle.
So this is I didn't obviously invent this. This is how people have been making coffee for hundreds of years. But this, I think, was a perk, and all the guts are removed, so it's just a kettle now.
Mm-hmm.
But the rule of thumb is 1 quart of water for 1/4 cup of coffee, so it's easy to remember, quarter. And the best coffee to use for Cowboy Coffee is what the Cowboys actually used.
What do you think, Rob?
That's the only coffee you should be making Cowboy Coffee with, because that's how you're supposed to cook Folgers. People complain about Folgers, and it's because they're cooking it wrong. You don't pour water through Folgers. You got to boil Folgers.
You heard it here. You heard it here, and I'll tell you what. I've had this coffee a number of times, and I'm going to go 100% agree. We got a little bit of a leaker. Stand by, a technical difficulty. I like it because we get 2 lights, right, Cody? 2 light ups.
Let's see how it goes.
Perfect. So here we go.
So just as it's getting warm, not boiling yet, that's when you want to add your 1/4 cup of coffee grounds. I do a pretty healthy 1/4 cup, and then just dump that right in, and then wait for the boil.
That's it?
That's all we do now.
Now let me ask you this. Did you have a roller before you dumped that in, or was it getting close?
Just getting warm.
So this is just floating on the top right now?
It's just floating.
And the roller's going to grab it and tool it into the boil?
And we'll probably need to turn it down because this stuff wants to boil over fast.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows that's my jam. All right. I can see him down there. Starting to bubble a little bit. I'm loving the American camper. As soon as our coffee's made, stand by because we're going to show you Cody's hobby over here, and it's quite impressive. We've been having a blast finding watches and getting them over to Cody because you've been able to fix almost every one of them, or either that or the ones that are worth putting the time to. So. That's a blast, and then we'll have him show off a couple of his cool watches, and then we'll show some really cool tooling that he has. Got a boiler, and now he's turning it down.
And then I'm going to set the time for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh man, I can smell it. It smells delicious. Quick little mug review. Cody's going with the fartless mug.
When you drink from a fartless mug, your friends can stop and give you a hug.
And I'm going with Mount Rushmore. It says, near as I can tell, we're somewhere behind Mount Rushmore. And you got everybody's fanny in the behind there. So there you go. All right, 5 minutes.
So turn the boil down, and then this is the next important part. This is just cold water.
Okay.
And we're going to pour cold water down the spout.
Okay. Oh, down the spout.
And then a little around the edges, if you can. Get it on the walls. And then definitely down the spout, though.
Oh, okay.
And what that does is the grounds sink to the bottom as soon as that cold water hits it.
Okay.
So that helps. And I have another thing I do, too, because I really don't like drinking the mud.
Yeah, this is Cody's hack.
So I just pour through one of these like little Keurig baskets because the mesh is super fine and it catches all that sludge because I just like my coffee to be liquid.
Yep.
And this stuff's strong enough as it is, so you don't need any extra.
That hack I was telling you about, we found 2 of those at yard sales yesterday. So I've got 2 of them. So somebody might be getting the second one when we get to Turkey Foot. But I'll tell you, I'll show you how it works. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a must-have in the kit. You know that? Oh, I could smell it. I'm getting excited. Nice. All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It makes Folgers good.
There's absolutely zero bitterness or harshness at all.
Yeah, cooks all the acidity out of it.
All you taste is the coffee.
Mm-hmm. That's how Folgers is supposed to be cooked. That's why people don't like it. They put it through their drip machine. It's not for that.
Wow. Nice. Thank you for showing us that. That was really cool. Eric, you got beat. He's been working on this pot for 2 months to do a coffee challenge with Cowboy Coffee. You got smoked, Eric. All right. You want to do want to talk some watches?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. In that little vice.
Yeah, it's just a little movement holder. So if you're down to just the movement, it'll grab. You can clamp down on that and not let it go flying.
Very cool.
But yeah, this is the newest acquisition. Is this microscope?
Now, check this out, everybody.
That's lowest power.
That's the lowest power for viewing.
Yeah, I keep it on lowest because any closer and it's like you can't really work on it or for disassembly and assembly. Sometimes a specific thing like messing with a jewel, but like here's my finger.
Hold on, let me flip.
That's my finger. So.
That is cool. Bulova Watch Company USA.
Yeah, it's a
17 jewels. So this is your latest and greatest pickup.
This microscope, and then this watch is just something from some estate sale. It's from the 40s. I really love these square watches from the 40s.
Let's look at the
30s
front.
and 40s.
Wow, that is beautiful. I love the patina on it.
This one just needs a new mainspring, and it should be good because the balance is good.
Very cool. Now, Cody, I noticed when you were pointing out to me what like the key parts of a watch are. Yeah. I never knew that.
Right.
So I think people would want to know those basics. Do you mind showing everybody that?
Yeah. So a pocket watch is a really easy way to show that because they're pretty simple. So this is it's an Elgin. I believe when I put it in the database, it was 1908 or 09 or something like that. I mean, and these enamel dials are basically glass. That's why it still looks like that after over 100 years.
Really?
Yeah. And this movement, I forget the grade number, but these are nice to show people how a watch works because there's a bridge. Get something other than my fat finger in there. there's a bridge for every wheel in the train of wheels, so it's really easy to pinpoint what's actually going on there.
So what? Those are bridges.
So this metal part is called a bridge.
Okay.
Some watches, the bridge is one big chunk, and as a watchmaker, that's so much harder to get back on. So that's the train bridge, and you can see this one has a nice shiny, probably rubies or sapphires. But this whole thing is one bridge that captures those 3 wheels. Some of them have where it captures 4 wheels or even 5, like the size 18 pocket watches, and those are so hard to get back on because you have to line all this up when you're trying to get it on. And like these little pivots here, they're smaller than a human hair, so it's not easy to line up. But
and those jewels are actual jewels.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's a really old watch, they would have been like a real ruby. Now everything's made in a lab, so they're like synthetic, but they're real jewels. They're just made in a lab. And so I think people have this misconception that they find an old watch and it says 21 jewels or 17 jewels, that has something to do with the value of the watch. It has nothing to do with the value of the watch. That has to do with how well the watch or accurate the watch might run or how long it'll last. But those jewels they're basically like bearings for a watch, because the pivot, which is the ends of the wheels, like almost like a axle, they ride in those. Their little jewels have holes in them, so they ride in those, and then you can put a spot of oil in them. And since they're a jewel, they're basically as hard as a diamond, they won't wear out. So it gives a bearing basically to the spindle.
Very cool. I noticed that that's a Swiss.
Yeah,
so Swiss made.
Well, some people.
Is this whole thing called the movement? Is that what that is?
Yeah, the movement is the inner workings of the watch that make it run. Some people would say this pocket watch is an abomination because it's a Waltham, but it's made in Switzerland, which Waltham is a well-known American pocket watch company.
It's gorgeous.
They all ended up in Switzerland after the war because we destroyed our own watchmaking industry when Roosevelt told the watch companies they can't make consumer goods anymore and they have to make things for the war effort. That killed our watch. And America was people think of Swiss watches, but when it came to pocket watches, America made way nicer products.
Really?
It's way nicer. We had Hamilton and Waltham and just all these brands that were known the world over as being the finest timepieces.
Wow, that's
cool.
And
now there's like maybe 1 or 2 American watchmaking companies.
I love it.
So this one's good to demonstrate how movement works. So I'll wind it up, and you can see these 2 wheels moving. This one's the big fat finger. This one's the crown wheel, and that's as I'm turning. This one's turning. This is the ratchet wheel. That's turning the barrel, and the barrel has the mainspring. The mainspring is the big spring that gives the whole watch power. So I'm winding that up, and it's being caught by this click, so it doesn't unwind itself. And it should come to life as soon as there it goes.
Wow.
So now you can see the balance moving.
That is so cool.
Basically what's happening is you have essentially 5 wheels. You have the first wheel, which is the barrel, the second wheel, which is the center wheel, and then the third wheel, the fourth wheel, which captures the seconds hand. You can see it. You can see it moving at what looks like the rate of seconds. And then it's the escape wheel, which is like the 5th wheel, and that's the one with the funny teeth. And so what's happening is it's releasing all the power from there, and it's going through this train of wheels releasing power. And if this escape wheel, there's a fork that's interacting with those funky teeth, if that wasn't there, all the power would just unwind. It would just totally unwind. So this is stopping it from unwinding as fast as it wants. So there's a fork that's interacting between those teeth, and so it stops it. And what makes it go again is this balance. There's a hairspring, and it's moving back and forth like this, and it's rocking that fork. And every time the fork rocks, it lets one tooth go by. So and that's how you're regulating time on a watch, rather than it just flying out of the spring. That's the basics of it. That's pretty much what a watch does. And all the seconds are tied to that 4th wheel, And the minutes are, they're on the other side of this is what's called the motion works. So all these gears are just interacting with the hands essentially, and that's how you get time. And they figured out like back in, watchmaking goes back to like the 1400s, but they figured out a long time ago how to get exact seconds. Like there's watches that only lose a second a day or something in accuracy, and it has to do with how accurate this motion and this balance is.
Dang, man, that is cool. Yeah, Cody, that'd be great. Show them a different style of watch.
So this is what's called an automatic, and this is what most modern mechanical watches are. You see this rotor right here that spins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you're moving throughout the day, that's rocking around on your wrist.
Okay.
It's winding the watch.
It is.
Yeah.
Huh.
You can see it. So if you wear a watch like this every day, you never have to wind it.
That's why the fancy storage they rock. So it's just keeping them. It's just keeping them
keeps them wound up. Some people think that a watch shouldn't ever unwind, so they keep them wound up. Or they just know that they want to wear it and not have to set it.
What type of watch is this?
This is a Seiko made. Seiko mass produces these for people building their own watches. As an NH, this one's an NH36, but they're just commonly referred to as an NH35. And I build my own Seikos basically with these parts, and people buy them.
Will you pitch your Etsy site, because I want people to see the watches that you've made?
Yeah. So. You can find me on Etsy. The store is Gem Watch Co. Like Gem, like Idaho Gem State. It's just Gem Watch Co. And I sell the Seikos. We call them Seiko mods because they're built from genuine Seiko parts and modding parts. And they're just things that you couldn't buy from Seiko. They're custom built, and I can even do bespoke things where people can ask for a specific kind of build. And it's fun.
Cool. Well, thank you, Cody. So you saw it here first. Super Cowboy Coffee and a watch program. So that was awesome. I hope you guys learned something. I know I learned something every time when I'm hanging with this guy. So we'll see you later. We're off. I don't know what. Did you even know what state we're heading to? No. We're off to another state. So stick around, and we're heading to Kentucky. We're going to get there.